Welcome to Absolute Comics, the show that Sal and I bring you every Tuesday at twitch.tv/comicstorian with the rest of the Comicstorian Podcast Network. Every Tuesday, we bring you Absolute Comics, and every Thursday, we bring you our review show, Comics Experiment, in our Dungeons & Dragons game, currently on its 4th campaign with Red Hood and Arsenal. It's been going on way too long, Sal. Today's episode is brought to you by our... Yeah, no, seriously, it is 100% been going... I have so much fun with it, but then I sit back and I'm like, this whole thing started as like a 6-session game. Why? Yep. Holy shit. Anyway, today's episode is brought to you by J Fuel. Use the code COMICS at checkout. Get yourself 10% off of your order. Venom and Carnage flavors are coming out. I have yet to try them, but I'm scared one of them is spicy and the other is black.
Yeah, you don't want that black tongue. You want a red tongue like Venom.
What? No, what? Yeah. Oh, I guess. Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe it's fruit punch. Maybe Venom is fruit punch. That'd be an interesting color decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, today let's talk about some comic books. So Sal, as I've expressed to you recently, I've been super catching up on my comic books.
Yes. How's your catch up been going?
Okay, so I've fully caught up on Nick Spencer's Spider-Man. Have you been reading it at all?
Of course. I'm intimately familiar with Nick Spencer's Spider-Man.
Are you actually? Or are you just trolling me?
No, I really have read it. I really don't like it, but I've read it.
What the hell is going on, Sal?
It's nothing interesting.
Kindred's Harry, that it's not Harry, then Norman made a deal with the devil.
Oh, well,
now Harry exists in 3 different iterations, and Gwen Stacy somehow involved?
No, it's Sarah. It's like it doesn't matter. All I know, I think we have one more issue left to wrap it all up, and I'm sure it'll be...
Next Wednesday will be the last issue of Spider-Man. You know what's irritating about this?
Yeah.
If you follow the news at all, they've already spoiled the big thing that's going to happen in this with their announcements of Spider-Man Beyond, Ben Reilly, and the Miles fight and all that stuff coming up. So I'm not going to say it here in case you're not following the news, but why the hell are you spoiling the big finale to a 74-issue run, Sal?
I'll be honest. I think the reason is pretty telegraphed through the way they've treated this run. I mean, you'll notice that less than a year ago, they announced that Nick Spencer had been working for Substack. He contacts all of his buddies. Everybody at Substack gets their generous grant to work for Substack. But Spencer, he has an FTJ, and it ain't writing Spider-Man anymore.
Yeah.
And I think he had kind of an experience that was less than favorable at Marvel. And I think that
he's never outright said it, but if you ever meet him at a con and you bring it up, you could see it on his face.
Yeah, he will not mince words or hide it.
No.
But his run, like the last issue of Spider-Man, really compressed. A lot of stuff in there, mostly just characters talking. Spider-Man himself, I think, doesn't even say anything. But that issue is a lot of exposition for this penultimate chapter of your entire run. I feel like that is they're not going to let me do everything that I want to do if I delay these things that are happening for the next 3 issues. So let me just cram it all in and then leave. Yeah. And Marvel's like, As far as Marvel's concerned, the Spencer run has been over. I think that's the approach. I think that Marvel's that run's done. Why are we even talking about the next issue of Spencer's run? We don't even give a shit. It's over. So, I
feel like what they're doing is after Dan Slott's run, superior to Parker Industries, the whole 9 yards, it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. It did. Yeah. I'm a fan of it, but a lot of people disliked it. Because in my opinion, it goes from Big Time to the end of Parker Industries is like one full 14-year story that Dan.
It totally is,
and I loved it. I loved that, but not everyone did because depending on when you jumped in, it was not what you were looking for in Spider-Man. You didn't see that growth from Big Time to Parker Industries. You didn't get all that.
You kind of got it, but it was there was hiccups along the way, and Peter himself was an idiot.
But if you jumped in at Superior Spider-Man. All that prior growth you never get to see. You just see him going into, he made me genius. Now I'm Parker Industries.
Yeah, I guess I have a company now. Yeah.
But none of it made sense. But what I'm saying is, I feel like initially Marvel was trying to use Nick Spencer to kind of restart Spider-Man.
Totally.
And Nick Spencer had a lot he wanted to say with Spider-Man.
Yes.
But the problem is, I think Dan Slott, for good or bad, left a taste in people's mouth.
Oh, yeah.
And I worded that right.
I mean, he did. I mean, the reality is you either love it or you hate it.
Yep. And I feel like Marvel came into Nick Spencer and was like, you know what? We're going to end your run. You're going to wrap your Kendra story. And we're going to take a Parker breather.
Yeah.
We're going to give, because you know what worked well for Wolverine? Taking a break for a little while.
Yeah. Well, everyone agrees, by and large, that Superior Spider-Man worked.
Yeah.
So Marvel knows, replace the hero with a different character, and you'll have success, at least, initially.
Right,
so,
and they're lining it up so that right before No Way Home or Far From Home or whatever one of them.
No Way Home. You're right.
Right before it, we're gonna get a new Spider-Man, so it's like a whole new adventure. None of that confusing Parker Industries and Clone Sagas and Hunted and Kindred. We're just gonna start fresh. Ben Reilly, new guy, and as long as you don't question his name, you can jump in with Spider-Man.
Right, and Peter will be back.
Oh, yeah.
So don't worry about it. It'll be triumphant. We'll have a different stunt writer doing it because they have a team. It's kind of like the Brand New Day era where it's like it's three different people working on Amazing Spider-Man, and I think there's going to be like a Peter book somewhere in there. So like they'll do a big thing.
Yeah.
They'll get there.
So overall opinions, though, because unless this last issue reveals a lot, I'm kind of like, to me, it feels like the Tom King run of Batman. I loved it, but I always stood by the guns of everyone who was against it, saying, look, if Tom King seals the deal in the end, this will be perfect. And by issue 81, it was like, where are we going?
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I feel like at the end of the day, I like the changes that Spencer put in the book. But that doesn't mean I liked reading it, and I don't like the stories that he wrote. Like, all the not continuity changes that he made, all the stuff that just was there about Boomerang or Gog.
I actually liked Boomerang,
the
did not like Gog.
And stuff. Like, yeah, the Gog thing I liked, like the concept of Peter Parker gets a pet, but even then, like, it's 3 issues total. Like, it's not really
and
explored.
Then Gog shows up once in a blue moon later. Like, oh, look, it's Gog, and Boomerang's upset about him, and that's it.
Yeah, like it's not really followed through, so it's like that's fine. But I love putting Kraven back in the ground. I love putting Harry back in the ground or giving him something that like undoes all the crap that has happened since he died. I like the marriage. I like Mary Jane. I like all these things. It's just that the way he executed them, I don't really care for.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I will still like be happy about it because I wanted those things to happen.
I
so
also feel like
there.
he's been forcing Peter Parker to get angrier and more out of character.
Yeah.
I'd say since Sins Past. Mm-hmm. Since like issue 40 till now, I feel like he's been getting more and more out of character to the point we're at now where I don't feel like it's Peter Parker anymore.
Yeah. Dude, I read Spider-Man during a period where Spider-Man had such a full amount of enough that he webbed himself into a cocoon. And when he emerged, he buried the Peter Parker persona and went under the spider. And he had these super melodramatic monologues, and he was always in the rain and in the darkness. And it was just that he's
so
never.
Spawned.
Yeah, he was. They spawned up Spider-Man for like a good 6 or 7 issues. It was really not great. And but it's knowing that version, knowing that Peter can sink to those depths. I still have not seen him get that dark yet. Or that miserable, or that uncharacteristic. Although Grim Hunt was a nice start because as much as it was a badass moment when Peter uses the Mark of Cain on Kraven's family, Peter Parker would never do that.
Yeah,
so
I mean, and that's basically what it comes down to. So
I'm also reading Batman the Detective, and it's great.
Oh, Batman the Detective is amazing. James Tynion's Fear State's a great Gotham story. I was thinking about it because I know you're not a fan of how he's not making it about Batman. It's a great Gotham story. I'm really digging it.
Yeah. Tynion has done a really nice job of highlighting the Gotham aspect of all the books, even Joker. That Joker book is barely about Joker. It's more about Jim, which is all kinds of great for me.
I'm fine with that, though. I love that Joker book.
Yeah, I also like that Joker book. It's great. So it's like, no, it's fine. Plus, it's not like there's any shortage of Batman books. The reality is, like, I don't need to read Batman. I could read Detective Comics. I could read the Detective itself. I could read Batman the World. I could read old Batman books. There's no shortage of Batman. I could read just regular Batman being Batman in that Bendis Justice League book, which I'm
going to pull Dan in for a second, and I'm saying this out loud so he can know what I'm talking about, and he can be prepped for it properly. But Dan is the top of Comics Experiment, is there too much Batman? And I'm assuming that means that Dan has got the Batman load. Dan, what is the number of Batman books out there right now? He's shaking his head that he doesn't have it. This is giving him time to Google a Comixology. Come on, Dan. You gotta get it for me. Dan, how many Batman books are there?
A lot.
All right, he's out.
Nailed it. Yeah. I mean, there are.
Yeah.
And there are going to be more.
Yeah, there is. I'm not against it, but the problem I have with so many Batman books is they're not clear where they all fit into the continuity of Batman.
Yeah, but they
if
never
you're going to
fit.
do this, you label Black Label. That's out of continuity. And anything not labeled that,
Yeah.
you need to tell me where it fits.
Yeah,
Because
the
you
Detective
can't
should
do
be a Black
Batman the
Label book.
Detective, which is basically a Black Label book.
Yes.
Since they got
it
rid of
should
the
be.
R rating of Black Label, it's just an out-of-continuity book. That's all
Right.
Black Label is. So if you're going to do Batman the Detective, why is that not flagged Black Label? Because that would
Yeah.
tell me, oh, this is out of continuity. Because now I'm sitting here going, when did Batman go to, like, Europe and do all
Yeah.
this stuff? And
Yeah, no, this book is the Detective is just hardcore out of continuity. I know that they used to say it was, and I know I've actually said that before as well. But I remember Taylor saying, like, I'm writing an in continuity Batman book. It's like, this book ain't in continuity. I'm sorry.
No. If it is, it's one of those like the old school Wolverine joke. Sundays with the Avengers, Mondays with the X-Men. Tuesday he's got to team up with Spider-Man.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No. So
There's another one I wanted to bring up. I don't know if you've read it. Have you touched the Green Lantern's annual?
No. When did that drop?
Want to say last week or this week? No, it would have been last
Okay.
week.
I'll take a look at it.
They're finally going in a direction that I loved about the Lantern books all the way back in New 52, where they
Yeah.
said, hey, we have all these human lanterns. Let's give them all different rings. Because remember, Guy
Yes.
had a red ring, and
I do.
John
I like
was
that.
dabbling with indigo and stuff like that.
This is the one with Jessica Cruz on the cover where
Yes.
she is finally a Sinestro Corps member because
Yes!
like, duh. I remember being like when they introduced her with Power Ring, and it was like
She's fear-based.
She's afraid all the time. Like, when are you gonna make her a Sinestro Corps member? Like, when are you just
When
gonna
are you going to
do
remember
that?
you have other cores?
Right, right. After Grant Morrison leaves, then we'll remember.
That's what they're doing!
Yeah, which is fine by me. No, that's great.
Kelly, they're still not really dabbling into, and they're really bringing up Joe Mulligan or whatever, Monahan or whatever, and they're still shuffling Hal to the corner, which I'm not happy with. But
Yeah.
so far, Green Lanterns is actually been pretty good. I'm enjoying it for the most part. I still dislike the idea of the Jon Stewart plot is that he has no ring and is learning how to be a hero without a ring. And I'm like, this
Right.
is so, why are you telling, it's the same argument I had back then. Like, everything about this book I'm enjoying, and then we get to Jon Stewart, and I'm like, this is so wasted. Why?
Right, but I mean, like,
Why
but I
would
do
you
love
take
John.
a Green Lantern and be like, I want to tell a story without a ring? Oh, that's never been done before. It's the same argument I had like a year ago.
I hear you. I completely agree. At least as far as like when they did the future state thing.
Yeah.
But that was clearly where they were going to go with it. But kind of like the King run, if it concludes with a triumphant, I got my ring and now look what I can do, that'd be kind of dope.
Okay, it could work that way. You know, let's talk about that for a quick moment.
Yeah.
The future state to Infinite Frontier thing, I'm going on record right now, stupidest thing ever.
I agree.
It wasn't like they trailered us what's going to happen. They have spoiled the next year of DC.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
we're over in Batman, he's fighting Peacekeeper. I'm like, oh, yay. I saw
I don't
how
give a
that
crap
ended.
about that.
Yeah.
Like, right.
You
But they were-
showed me how that
we
ended.
can change the ending because we said that's a possible future.
Dumb.
Bite
Because
me.
right now, technically, I've already seen John get his ring back. So
Yeah.
all of this in the middle ground, dumb. I don't want it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Seen it. Yeah.
I think on paper, Future State was a great idea.
Yeah.
Now that we're actually in practice and getting to it, I'm like, oh my God, you're wasting my time.
No, for me, it was a great idea when it was that. When it
Yes.
was over there.
When
But,
it was like
you-
a fun alternate universe, but now
Yeah.
we're getting to it.
Yeah, and no, it's like you needed to use the time that you had when you were releasing Future State to come up with something else. Now, Infinite Frontier is that something else,
Yeah.
but it's only a 6-issue miniseries, not necessarily a publishing initiative like it was kind of billed in the first place. It doesn't. Everything else is still Future State or
Yeah.
not.
There's a Future State book still happening. It's like, what is happening with Red Hood? I don't know. He's got a book.
Yeah, he has a book though, and it's in black and white, and the art's pretty cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
I say about this, I like the art. I just don't know why that one was in black and white. That's my only complaint with that one.
Yeah, well, and we've talked about it. Remember when we were like, hey, I have confirmation from on high that says they intended for it to be in black and white the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's a wasted opportunity to not make it black, white, and red, and then make the helmet red if we're going to do that, because it's such a trend right now.
That's such a great idea. That would have, because I think that the black and white thing, we meant to do that because now the book comes out on time. Yeah. But like you could add red.
You got a red Sharpie helmet.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I've been reading, and the new Moon Knight's amazing too. If you haven't read that one out,
it's good. Yeah, I've read the first 2 issues. I haven't read issue 3 yet, but I think that comes out literally tomorrow. So
I do like how they're kind of just like they're ignoring a lot of stuff that Moon Knight has gone through in previous runs to just kind of be like, all right, so in Avengers, like they got rid of Khonshu, but he doesn't care and he's still doing his thing. But someone else cares.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
But the reason I brought up Moon Knight though, Sal.
Oh, please, yeah.
This makes Jason Aaron's Avengers in continuity.
Yeah, lucky us. It was such a great run. For me, that run has been over for 2 years, and I just haven't read any Avengers books because, like, do I not like that run? But I don't mind it, but they
never talk about it. They never bring it up. It's never a reference to continuity. It's never promoted. It's just like, here's Marvel. And Jason Aaron's doing an Avengers thing over here, off camera.
Right. Yeah, he even did an event, and like, yeah, whatever.
Dude, that Heroes Reborn didn't even like do crazy numbers on it. It was weird.
How could it? First of all, his next event is also another thing that like he's taking the name of from something else. Like, don't use the names of other stories. Just come up with another one. But like Heroes Reborn. Nobody knew what the hell that was up. You had 2 camps of people when they marketed Heroes Reborn. Huh? And what? Like,
I thought Heroes Reborn on paper was a good idea. The problem I have with Heroes Reborn is it's an event without anything happening.
Yeah.
Nothing happens in Heroes Reborn.
It was an event, world building, a reality we're not going to see again. What?
And it's all it was is world building. That's all it was.
Yeah, I mean they did the same thing with House of M, but at least House of M had the good sense. For House of M 1 through 8 is the story about the characters who are doing things in it.
Yeah,
they're not backups in their own event. Heroes Reborn was just like, here's what Nighthawk is up to. And also, Thor's here, and he's doing something with Cap. See you next issue. Wait. But that's all that happened. And none of this has any bearing on what's happening. No, that's right.
It was actually funny because Dan and I were doing the full stories, and sometimes we do one like core plot and then one with all the crazy shit that happens in the extra, right?
Yeah.
And so when Heroes Reborn came out, Dan hit me up, and he's like, so we're going to do the Heroes Reborn full story. Should I just do the core plot first, and then we'll do all the extras? And I said, Dan, that will be a 10-minute video because nothing happened in the core plot.
No.
I think our full story will be the shortest full story in existence. We just have to do it all.
No, it literally is like, it's like Jason Aaron hates you. And it's like, I want to make an event that's impossible to make a complete story out of. Because you have all these tie-ins, and those are just like cracked mirror versions of things that you remember, but using analog DC characters and just having fun with it. But it doesn't tell a story. It's just a little window into what's happening in this universe you don't know anything about or care about. Cool. Like, wow.
So, do you want to get to our topics then?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So the first one is Dennis Culver will be returning to fight. Dennis Culver will be writing the next arc in Future State Gotham on issue 8, which is a new arc entitled The Next Joker. And he tweeted out an image of his Joker.
Mm-hmm. Now, look, this is, before we even jump into the hyperbole.
Is that like Joker meets Ghost Rider? But okay.
I mean, it looks like it. It's just, but like, it's not going to replace Joker.
No,
there's a book called Joker. It stars that Joker. That's real Joker. But this world of Future State Gotham is so hyper stylized. Sure, go for it.
It's still like 2 years in the future. When did Neon and all this stuff happen in Future State Gotham?
I know. But they would probably say the same thing where they're like, oh, you mean all the Gothic architecture and like the impossible subway system that they have? Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, all right. But like, no, it looks like Batman Beyond.
I like the idea of Future State Gotham. I think it's a fun idea. I think part of the waste here is that Future State is now referenced as this event over here.
Right.
When Future State Gotham could have, if you had not used the term, if they should have just named it Future Gotham,
Right.
and I would have been down with it. Like,
Yeah, but then you wouldn't have bought it because you don't know what it is. Future State, you already recognize it because of the the initiative we did.
but yeah, I mean, this new Joker, it's not going to catch on. I mean, they tried that with Next Batman, which actually is a really great book, and no one read it.
No, and now there's a new book called I Am Batman, which I think is the continuation of that book.
It is. I was joking about this the other day because we did 1 through 5, and then we said 6 through 10 of the Next Batman. Mm-hmm. And then I hit up my writer, and I was like, hey, I need you to do 11 and 12 of the Next Batman. He's like, is that it? I'm like, well, yeah, the ended it and started it over as a different book. Right. To really help you keep track of what's what. Like, let's just do that.
Right? So, yay. All right. Hopefully it'll get some eyes on it because, I imagine
it's a cool
this book
idea, but he still didn't put the goddamn suit on until we get to the I Am Batman book.
Oh, I know.
So it's a 12-issue prequel.
Yeah, it is. So, go storm your comic book store and pick up copies.
It's good, but it's just dragged out so long.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the story overall. Just my argument is if you're going to do that, just put the book out as a trade.
Right.
Because you have a book called The Next Batman with a guy that doesn't wear the Batman suit.
Well, or slap the black label on it again so that people know that it's like, this isn't replacing anything. This is something else. Maybe you might want to try it because it's so exciting. I don't know.
Yeah. But, all right, well, the next one on this list here is Shang-Chi is the number 1 in the box office in the world for three weeks in a row. Apparently, I can't talk.
Baby Benny. Yes.
Baby Benny, baby bald guy.
Cool, good. I mean, it's, it doesn't hurt that the movie doesn't suck. So it's like, all right.
I still think this is one of my favorite ones. Sal, let me show. Dan, I don't know how to do this, but if you go... I'll tweet this out right now, okay? Go to Comic Storian, okay? I found and bought Shang-Chi shoes. Okay, I'm going to tweet it out so everyone in the chat and you can go see it, Sal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Save and tweet it. Add, I bought I'm going to hashtag that one. Shang-Chi's shoes. Okay, there it is, Shang-Chi.
Okay.
And shoes. Thoughts? Tweeted. Okay. So I got out of that movie. I love that movie so much, but they kept putting on his Jordans, right? They're like Air Jordans, Air Jordans, Air Jordans. So I got out of the movie and I Googled what Air Jordans does Shang-Chi wear, and I found them, and they're on eBay, and they were only $100.
Nice.
Which is not cheap, but I hear Air Jordans, I'm thinking $500-$600,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, no. Yeah, they look good, honestly.
Yeah. So I got them. I'll be wearing them at New York Comic Con. Me and my Jordans.
Nice. They look good.
I'm hoping they get stolen in New York. So
perfect. No, it's great. And honestly, the movie's fun. I enjoyed it. Check it out.
Yeah.
But that's cool. 3 weeks in a row. Good.
Yes, I'm excited for that. I think it's a good sign that we can kind of get some original origin movies instead of it just being let's tell the same stuff we've told 9 times now.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's some element to that, but it's it's leaning more into its own mythology. It's not just trying to be the most generic thing it can be, which I was like, that's really cool. Way to go. Good. I
loved it. I thought it was great. I'm a huge fan of old school classic kung fu movies and the whole Jackie Chan, Jet Li era where we saw them. So for me, this was just Marvel did one of the movie types I love. Here we go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping, my hope is that this is a resurgence back to those martial arts style movies.
Yeah.
That would be great.
That would be really cool. Yeah, absolutely. They're like, oh, you like that, huh?
Yeah.
Well, China didn't stop making them, so we got 1 billion we can export.
I know, which has always bothered me because it's oh yeah, but we just stopped dubbing them.
Right.
Most of them we don't even subtitle. But yeah, I'm excited for that. The only caveat I got to put out with this is still, what movies come out in the last 3 weeks?
Nothing.
What is it beating is my question.
Malignant, I assume.
No, actually, I saw that and it was terrible. But
yeah, of course it was. Look at it.
It's on HBO Max. It's one of those things where once The problem I had with Malignant is that the concept, without spoiling the movie, they basically try to make it grounded.
And
then they like super villain it up, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Then Act
hell?
3, and you're like, no.
Like when the villain is like dropping like an entire police precinct, but keep in mind it's still grounded in reality. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
James Wan, what are you doing, buddy?
He's just messing around. I mean, good for him. He has the money to do it, but like,
Right.
What?
Oh, I'm
What?
surprised. I'm surprised Paw Patrol the movie didn't beat it.
Oh, there's a Paw Patrol movie. Cool.
Apparently.
Did Dune drop yet? Is Dune out?
No. Card Counter, Stillwater. I heard a lot of good things about that. Forever Golden, a celebration of the Golden Girls.
What?
That's a movie, apparently.
Is it like on HBO Max or something?
No, I'm looking at my local theater.
Oh.
For the first time in the big screen, celebrate the Golden Girls with a special screening of some of the most memorable. Okay, that's not bad then. That
Yeah.
special screening of like memories from the. I was like, let's they make a Golden Girls movie?
Yeah. I'll watch that, but like, no.
I did. So would I, because I remember watching that when I was a kid, just pop it on the reruns.
It's a funny show. Chris Lloyd, I think, wrote it. So,
Yeah.
keep an eye out.
So, all right, well, we'll move on to the next one here. Now we're way off base.
Yes.
So
Golden Girls.
Here's the Topher Grace thing.
Yes.
So, warning for you, Sal. I'm going to spoil the entirety of the new movie.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah, that's what he did. Okay?
Okay.
Here's Topher Grace's tweet in which he spoiled the entirety of Spider-Man 3.
Oh.
Somebody asked him on Reddit or something if he was in the movie. And his response, everyone, please keep it between us. But yes, I am in it. The plot starts with Peter Parker bummed that everyone knows his identity, and then some crazy shit happens with Doctor Strange and Dr. Octopus coming into his dimension. That Electro and Green Goblin hop out of one of those energy circles, and they're like, it's spider stomping time. Then Tom Hardy and I pop out and battle each other, and I win, obviously. It's like not even a fight. I kick his ass immediately. Not to give too much away, but there's also some actors from the original 70s Spider-Man show,
Nice.
Aquaman and Ben Affleck, and Batman, not Affleck, not Keaton crossover. Thanks to Disney Han Solo's ghost from Rise of the Skywalker and that Eve robot from WALL-E. Again, keep it between us.
Nice. That's great.
And that's it blowing up that Topher Grace has spoiled Spider-Man.
Yep. Here's what's happening. He ain't wrong. I have it on good authority. He's right.
All right, so next up we got Fast and the Furious director Justin Lin says that the series will be ending with the final two films, which are expected to be back-to-back in a single storyline across 2 installments.
They're endgaming Fast and the Furious?
Oh my god. I want to give it shit, but I love that franchise.
The fact is, like, the next biggest franchise is this.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah.
It's MCU, Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, like, you can't... You couldn't Justice League it. You can't Mummy it. But you could definitely Fast and Furious. You could endgame Fast and the Furious. Like, you could easily... We're going to shoot 2 movies. We're going to spend $600 million. It's going to be the biggest, most sensational, family-driven car theft movie of all time. Yeah, I mean, like, and I hope they do, but at the same time, I'm also like... I don't know. I don't know. I've never seen a single Fast and Furious movie. So I can plainly say that there is nothing to those movies that says that it needs to stop.
Right.
And for me, it's like, that Hobbs and Shaw movie, I don't know if it didn't break $1 billion, which I think is weird. Not $1 billion, but it didn't make huge bank, I don't think.
I'm looking. I actually did not see what it did. Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, how did Hobbs and Shaw
Under
do?
a budget of $200 million, made $760 million. Oh, it's
that's a good... That's a good number. That's a good number. That's a good number. So, like, I feel like, look, you know what? You're not going to be making these Fast and the Furious movies forever. I get that. But, like, make more Hobbs and Shaws. And I don't mean, like, about Hobbs and Shaw. I mean, like, spin them all out. Is Michelle Rodriguez still alive? Put her in those. Like, make a movie for her.
She was dead. She's back in the
I know. I
franchise.
remember. That's one thing I did know about those movies is that she had been in 1 or 2, and then she died, and then they brought her back. Like in friggin' Resident Evil.
Yeah, Han. Did the same thing with Han. Han died in an ending, and they were like, nah, they got hurt. He's back.
They're like, actually, like...
Okay, so here's my theory, because we're going to space now, and we're going to, like, Fast and the Furious 11 is going to end in a time loop.
Yes.
Where Vin Diesel has to go back in time and set up the first movie.
I think that's a great idea. I think at this point, because these studios are so creatively bankrupt, they're like, look, what elements do we know worked in Endgame? Time travel, big action sequence that everyone's talking about that has every actor from our franchise in it. So like, that's it. Just have them go back in time.
Yeah,
they
it'll
gotta
be his
go
own dad. It'll be Futurama up.
Oh, perfect. What they should do actually is like they should black racer it, where it's like he has to it's like they Eobard Thawne it. There's like a dark time traveling person who's like, I'm gonna undo the family, and Vin Diesel has to go back in time and fight him, erase him. Really is what I mean.
Oh yeah, it'll be a race through time.
Exactly. Exactly, and then he can say goodbye to Paul Walker again, and there you go.
They'll probably do something that will say goodbye to him again as like a final tribute to him.
Well, they're like, look, the technology wasn't there, but now it is. We can actually deepfake him. So like, let's get his brother.
Yeah, that could work. All right, so next up we got Justice League Infinity #4 teases a potential relationship between Wonder Woman and Darkseid. Oh yeah, it straight up shows them kissing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great cover because like it's from the animated universe. DeMatteis loves to play with this kind of thing.
Okay, I do say this though. I was looking at Infinity the other day. Mm-hmm. Why the hell is it not in the art style of the show? And if it's not going to be, why isn't it at least called Justice League Unlimited? Nothing directly links this, Sal.
Sure it does. The narrative links it, and the the art style in the pages it looks like the animated series. It's a little sloppier, but it's better than that Batman book. It's just
the Batman book says the adventure continues in the font of the show. Like
this is the font of the comic or of the cartoon show.
It's not linked enough in my opinion. It's not. It's like we know it, but anybody else goes, oh, Justice League Infinity. Okay.
Yeah, they need to sell it better, but it goes Justice League Unlimited, Justice League Infinity. Like, it's the natural conclusion of the subheadings. I think it's fine. I hope that they're selling it to the people who like get it and want to see the show continue. But
right.
I don't know. This is a classic comic book cover to me. This is one of those like, it's a misdirect, or maybe it isn't. Maybe it's like, because I think the idea is that they're trapped on a desolate planet by themselves, and like it could be like 1,000 years in the future, and it's like after it's while. I mean, like Superman and Vandal Savage become friends in the future in the cartoon. Ooh. It's probably something like that.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, honestly, I don't care either way about this concept that she's dating Darkseid.
It's a one issue. It's a one-off. There's not going to be a thing.
It's not going to be a thing.
No.
So.
No, but like for me, it's one of those like. It's a striking cover. I'm like, haha, way to go.
Yeah. Next up, we've got Hulu releases the trailer for the upcoming animated series based on Marvel Comics Hit Monkey. I haven't actually seen the trailer yet because tomorrow when we do a bunch of our filming, I was going to hit you up to do the trailer review for this one.
Okay.
Because a bunch of our stuff, like trailer reviews and stuff, they go to our other channel guys. Absolutely Marvel and DC, where me, Sal, Dan, and Dylan talk about all kinds of stuff for TV shows, trailers, movies, stuff like that. But
that's right.
What I did want to talk about this though is why Hit Monkey?
Because it was part of the MODOK rollout. Yeah, Hit Monkey was one of those shows that was also in development along the same time as like Hellstrom and MODOK and stuff like that. And so it's like,
so all of those shows are still coming out except the Deadpool one that we all wanted.
That's right. That's right.
The one by Donald Glover that we wanted is the only
the one that we wanted. Yeah, we're not getting that. But they didn't finish it. This is Hit Monkey was done, I assume. And so in this case, they're just like, we own Hulu. We need to show something on it. We made this. Here you go. It's already canceled. I'm sure there will not be any more Hit Monkey after this.
The ideas they threw at Hulu was really like, you want table scraps, Hulu? All right, you're in the Disney family, but we got Hit Monkey, MODOK. Yeah. We're gonna tell you that you're getting Deadpool only until we buy out Fox.
Right? Yeah, and then we see it and go, oh no, that's too dark. That's too violent. Stupid.
But, I don't have much more to say about it, so.
No, it's just one of those things where I'm like, people are like, wow, they're really, look at Disney trying things. No. That was pre all that. This is another thing.
I'm pulling up the article for this last one. Dan got us another one, which is Netflix series Grendel uses a Muslim Arab man as the lead. what's the news on this, Dan? Like, what's the actual news portion? I won't pull you in.
Yeah.
The whole point of it, the whole point of the article was basically that this is the very first time that an Arab Muslim has been cast as the lead in a comic book adaptation movie.
Oh, okay. So it's a representation article.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay. No, that's fine. It's just like I'm looking at it like, is this just a representation article? Like, hey, this has finally happened, or is this like there's a reason behind this that would make somebody upset or something?
Right.
No, really. I just thought it was cool that.
No, it is cool. Yeah, no. I mean, I read it assuming it was because this is the first time there's been a Muslim Arab man, but I also didn't want to like miss the point of the article and be like representation. All right, let's move on. Like, Dan's like, no.
Right. It's interesting to me. It's less interesting. Like, I don't care like what the ethnicity of the actor is who's playing Hunter Rose, but like, it's cool that they're finally making a Grendel anything.
I don't even know what Grendel is, so this sounds like it's up your alley.
It's. I mean, it wasn't. I was not a huge Grendel fan, but like, I know it, and it's like, it's one of those things where there are only 2 years that Grendel could have come out, 1995 and 2021, because like, 1995, they were like the independent comic book market was being exploited. And the speculator market had everything to do with that, so they only had like a 2-year window, which is why you have things like Tank Girl and The Phantom, and The Shadow, all these random movies that like no one asked for because they're like, well, I mean, they're already making they're making Batman, and we can save by making like The Phantom, which we could get for pennies on the dollar. Grendel is one of those things where it's like I remember them saying they were going to make a Grendel movie in 1995.
I just Googled it. I've never heard of this series, and it started in 1982.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like the speculator market collapsed before they could even get close to making this. And now it's like, well, anything can be a show. Like The Boys is an award-winning series. Yeah. Anything can be a thing. And especially if it's a show. So it's like, I don't think that whoever's adapting Grendel into a show, I don't know if they've ever seen it or understand what it's about or are interested in going through it, but like, neat. Cool. Neat.
That's Sal, the only guy who even knows what Grendel is. Official verdict on Grendel is
neat. Good for you. I mean, like, listen, the suit for Grendel, the mask, the logo, like, it's dope. But the exploration of like the inner violence within you and the manifestation of that violence through taking on the mantle of Grendel, like, I don't know. I'm like, really? But I guess, like, you could, but, there's multiple Grendels, and, it's kind of like the Phantom in that, like, it's a generational thing. There's different Grendels throughout history.
Yeah, looking at a couple of those covers, there was a woman, a guy in a kilt, a guy, like, there was like a whole bunch of different people. So.
Exactly. And there's a future Grendel, like, I don't know. It's like... it's one of those things where there's no way whoever bought the rights to Grendel read it. Because when you look at Grendel, like, hey, you know what? Benny, by the way, here's a tip. If you want to do a Grendel run or story on Comic Story and to match up with the movie, do Batman Grendel. Because, like, it's a book about Batman fighting Grendel. So it's like, oh, cool. That's all you need to do. But, like, there's actually 2 of them, but, like, who cares? In this particular situation, if you read it, it's kind of, like, messed up. Like, the guy's a sociopath, and he's like, he fights a wolf man. that's his main antagonist, and like his not granddaughter is the next granddaughter. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's not quite as direct and cut and dry as like anything. They might as well make like Concrete or Scud the Disposable Assassin. Like, at least then it's like,
Scud,
right? Like, where's the Scud show? Oh, gee whiz, you mean the guy who's best friends with Justin Roiland, who does voices for Rick and Morty, invented a cartoon-looking super character? There's a video game of Scud. Like, you could just make Scud. You could make Scud tomorrow. Adult Swim could make Scud now. And it's like,
they haven't.
It's like, it's not just weird, it's suspicious. Like, at this point, it's like, Scud would cost nothing to make. Like, Rob Schrab was selling his personal copies of... He was just like, I don't have any room in my apartment. And just started selling Scud on eBay. I bought one. I was like, I'll take one of Rob's copies of Scud. Like, that's how little anyone cares about Scud. And it's just like, and it's more relatable than Grendel. Grendel is an achievement, and there's an amazing miniseries that isn't really about this Grendel, Hunter Rose, but is about the female Grendel's mom, and that one is drawn by Tim Sale and written by Matt Wagner, and you should check that out. I'm surprised they didn't do a Mage show. Mage is another one made by Matt Wagner that's like same time. You know, he made Grendel, it didn't really work out, then he made Mage, then he went back to Grendel, and he's like, and he like, you know, he had grown it as an artist, so like people responded to it more. But like, Mage is a story. Like with a rising and falling action. Grendel's like, you can even trust that the things he says about his past are true. Anyway. But yeah, they're making a Grendel movie. Or show. Neat. I still stand by my review. Neat. It really is. Right. It's like, it's fascinating. You know, like, you didn't remake Tank Girl, which could be cool now. Like, you mean, where's Margot Robbie's Tank Girl?
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Where is that?
I read the reboot of Tank Girl they did recently. I was like, this is fun. This is just fun stories with Tank Girl.
Right? Just get, what's his name? I can't remember his name. It doesn't matter. But, like, get the artist to do, like, the storyboards for that and just go for it. Right. There's a ton. Where's the Bone show?
Wasn't that being made? What happened?
Yeah, right. They've been talking about making Bone since it came out. And I'm like...
You know what? Speaking of old indie comics, I'm surprised never got a show. Chew.
Where is Chew? How is that not a show?
That'd be the easiest show to make.
They made Preacher before Chew. Preacher's unfilmable.
Chew is about a guy that whatever he eats, he gets the memories of.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. That's all you gotta do.
It's freaking bizarre. But I'll take it. You know?
It's Chew. Everyone in the chat's like, Chew what? Chew, C-H, no.
Yeah.
C-H-E-W. Chew. Like, you chew something.
Like the past tense of, no, the present tense of chewing. Like, yeah, I would love to see that. And you know, as long as all the money in the world isn't spent by the end of this decade, we will. Like, they'll all be making. There's a Why the Last Man show. I haven't watched it. Can you believe it? There's a Why the Last Man show.
I will say this. Okay, I've watched the first episode of Why the Last Man.
Yeah.
And since Why the Last Man's initial concept is basically gender politics before gender politics was a thing.
Right.
I was curious, and I'm like, okay, there's no way they're going to ignore the current state of gender politics. How are they going to handle
this? This is their bread and butter. Hollywood would salivate over making a property like this.
Right. So I'm like, okay, so how are they going to handle trans? How are they going to handle, women versus men? How are they going to handle all this stuff? Like, what are they going to do? And I Googled it, and it's like huge articles where they're like, oh my God, they're handling it in this manner, they're doing this. They've got to address the trans rights and all these other things.
Yeah.
I will say the amount of things that like to try and throw all of the gender politics in your face to the point where I'm just like, just leave me alone.
Right.
This is the first show that I've watched that just did it in the narrative, and I was fine with it. Like, the way they're handling modern day gender politics so far with only 2 episodes. Now, this is 2 episodes in. So we go like 6 and it blows it out of the water at whatever. But
I'm sure. But like
I was interested. It was like, oh, you're handling it in a good way and it's in a teachable way, but you're also not throwing it in somebody's face trying to make them learn it.
It could be just because they're adapting the friggin' book, which is about that, but doesn't make it about that. You know?
Right. And that's kind of what I liked about this, because the show's about why his monkey and how everyone links up and what happened.
That's dope. Yeah. Like, in a world of Sweet Tooth, Why the Last Man? It's like, make that. Where's Ex Machina? Where are all these other ones? Where's how come I can't see Powers? Remember when PlayStation made the Powers show?
Oh my God, that show was terrible. I never heard. No, everyone forgot it even existed.
I know, but I'd like to look at it. I would be damned before I buy a PlayStation subscription to watch Powers.
I think it's gone because they got rid of their video service.
Yeah, but someone owns it. There's no way no one. If I can watch Roger Corman's Fantastic Four anytime I want to, or the Star Wars holiday special, I should be able to. If I can watch the unaired TV movie pilot for Justice League starring Fire and Ice and Martian Manhunter, I should be able to watch Powers.
I don't think it lives anywhere now.
That's cool.
I'm on the wiki and it's only listed as PlayStation Network.
Oh, well, there's no way I can watch that then.
No, it's dead. The PlayStation thing is done. Like their whole attempt is just done.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
Wow, they just let it go.
Yeah, we should just make a whole episode of just like we basically did of just like here are a bunch of comic books where it's like I can't believe this isn't even in development, much less
Amazon has it. It's on Amazon now.
There we go. I cannot watch it over there.
But I'm just saying, I found it.
Right. Thank you. No, that's actually useful. I want to see that.
No, you're right. Though. There's a whole we could make a whole episode about that. Comics that should have shows. That would be
like the fact that Grendel is a thing means that they'll probably make a TV show of the Max.
Oh, I could see that.
And it's like a horrible idea, by the way. The Max is perfection thanks to the MTV cartoon show. If you ever want to watch The Max, just find it. It's on the internet. 15-minute intervals. It's a great. It's a perfect distillation of the comic book.
I'm gonna end this episode,
please, yes,
with the ultimate comic that should have a show right now. Has a creator trying to make the show, has a network willing to put it up, and somehow it still doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Come on, I'm gonna see if you guess this one. This show has everything working for it, except no one will greenlight it.
There's so many that it could be.
No, it's a personal favorite of yours.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Spawn?
Yes.
Yes. Well, yeah. No.
If you talk to Todd McFarlane, which we have,
yes,
he will tell you he's been in multiple meetings. He's got everything lined up. Someone just has to say, let's make Spawn.
They're not going to do that. He wants to direct it. He wants it to be a movie, and he wants to direct it. They're never going to let him do that. That's it. No. Spawn would be made in a heartbeat if he let anyone else direct it, but he wants to direct it. And I know why. Todd McFarlane's don't let him fool you. He is a business genius.
Oh, yeah.
He knows what he's doing. There was a big joke at his expense for a long time. He bought all of Mark McGuire's award-winning balls before it turned out that he was like a roid-raged monster. But like he bought all these balls, and that was the joke, right? Is that Todd loves balls. Todd buys balls, and it's like Todd bought all these Mark McGuire like home run balls, and he toured with them. And he brought them with him to comic book conventions and stuff. And the reason and people were like, "Why did you do that? Like you're Canadian. What do you care?" And he's like, "Oh, I just like baseball." And then it turns out like he did that to get his name out there so that people would hear McFarlane, sports, like baseballs, Mark McGuire. Yeah. And so inevitably they did any of these, like the MLB, the NBA was looking to license toys. They didn't even hesitate. They were like, oh, well, there's a comic book action figure guy. He bought all the Mark McGuire's balls. I'll call him first. And he got the license. That was, and it was like an investment. It was, I spent an inordinate amount of money on useless sports paraphernalia just as as seed money to create buzz. Like that's where he is. So like, no, I know he wants to direct that Spawn movie so that he is a Hollywood award-winning or a Hollywood director, so that he has his credit to his name.
But in his defense, though, the dude's a multimillionaire. He doesn't need the money, the check, the fame. He just wants to be a Hollywood director. So that's what he wants. And he owns Spawn. So why wouldn't he hold out until someone lets him do that?
Exactly. But the reality is, Todd doesn't need, and we've talked about this on the show, like he doesn't need to be let to do this. He has money. He can raise money. If you looked at his Kickstarter, he made like $2 million in like over a weekend. You know, like how much could Spawn possibly cost to make? Especially if he wants it to be like Jaws, where Spawn's like a secret character you don't even see. Especially if it's about Sam and Twitch. Especially if like Jeremy Renner's in it and Jamie Foxx said he wants to be Spawn. You know, like you already have all these people and they're locked in, and it's just going to be like a noir. Like there's nothing more inexpensive than atmosphere because you can just tight angles. One set, Dredd was cheap. Shouldn't have been as expensive as Dredd was, but it should have made his money back. But the point being,
Dredd was amazing.
Dredd is amazing, and it should have been
kept his goddamn helmet on.
I know. Dredd should have been half the budget and would have made all of its money back. It's a sin. But anyway, yeah, no. Todd could just kickstart Spawn the movie, and then he'd be able to make it. And then he has to worry about who wants to distribute it. And no one would say no. He'd have a bidding war with Netflix and Amazon, and it just. But anyway.
Well, this is Absolute Comics. If you are on the YouTube side and coming in late, I have already unlisted this video. So either roll back on this video to watch the Scott Snyder interview, or go to twitch.tv/comicstorian, where every Tuesday and Thursday, Sal and I sit down and talk about various things in the world of comics at the Comic Storian Podcast Network, which once again is twitch.tv/comicstorian. Every Tuesday, it's me and Sal. Every Thursday, it's me, Dan, and Andy, and we talk about comic books, play Dungeons & Dragons, and we do comic book reviews on a regular basis, and would love for you to join us. If you want this to kind of show up, the chat would like us to know that Twitch beat YouTube. Go Twitch.
Oh, like in terms of notifying its audience? Yeah.
Yeah, and who talked?
to
But
believe.
at the end of the day, guys, if you want to see this, we're going to be doing a few more of these over here at Comic Storian, making you aware of all the different brands and stuff that we do here at the Comic Storian Company, because this is a whole company. We have a lot of different channels of projects we work on.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for joining us today. Sal, since you're on YouTube and you don't normally get over here, why don't you tell them what you do so the people who are watching on YouTube can go check you out?
Sure. Well, as you saw from my meltdown, I talk passionately about comic books on a day-to-day basis. On our main channel, youtube.com/comicpop, it's alongside two other people on a couch where we break down a trade and make it a lot of fun. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. Or you can check us out over on the other YouTube channel we make called Comic Pop Returns, where we do more podcasty stuff. We do weekly comic book reviews and recommendations, and then we do another breakdown of like some kind of topic for about each show runs about an hour, so you can check out both channels and you will have a grand old time if you do so come check us out.
All right, and like I said, you can also check out if you like this show but you don't want to go to Twitch, it does get uploaded to YouTube. Do a YouTube search for the Absolute Comics channel. All right, guys, thank you so much. Go check out that channel. You'll get all the podcasts up there, or you can find them on Spotify or your favorite podcast network. For somebody who said that we're not on Google, we'll look into that, but it is one thing we send it to and it sends it out, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We'll see you next week right here at Absolute Comics, twitch.tv/comicstorian, and maybe it'll be up over here again. I don't know, YouTubers. Check us out on Twitch or go to that other channel to see this show. We do it every week. And if you're on Twitch, check us out Thursday. We're going to be doing our comic book review show, a comics experiment discussing Is There Too Much Batman? And we'll be doing the next section of our Red Hood and Arsenal Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Love to have you a part of that, and thank you so much for watching us today. You guys have a great night.